Okay, modelers, so today we're going to be doing a bit of a review on something I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while because I've seen other people use this on YouTube. I've seen different people use it. A couple of our local model club guys who do cars mainly have got this as well, and it's the, forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, it's the, where are we? I've got to find the name on it. The Molotow liquid chrome pen. Okay, now this stuff here, from what I've seen, is really awesome. I got this for a good price actually. I was surprised because anywhere I find it online it's like $17 or something. They come in different sizes. This is the smallest one, the 1mm. I think it goes 2, 3, 5. It goes up. I forget what the biggest one is now. But you can also get refills, which is just a tube with the liquid chrome in it. And you can actually open that up and empty it into an airbrush and spray the stuff as well. And you can do it with the pens. You can take the ends off and tip it in as well, which is something I may try later on. But it's not something I really want to spray. It's something I'd rather do what I'm going to do here in a minute and show you, just to do sills around cars, like chrome pieces, little chrome spots and stuff like that. And for that, it looks like it's really good. Now, the people I bought it off was Hobby Rama in Brisbane for $14. And like I say, the cheapest I found online was about 17, then you got postage as well. So it was a pretty good price. Obviously they're buying them in bulk and that as well. They had cartons of them there. So and they also had a car there that they'd done the bumper. They'd painted the whole bumper with one of these pens. Because I was a bit concerned after seeing another video on here where a guy sprayed it on and let it dry really well and truly, then touched it and it left finger marks in it, like it just doesn't set properly. But the guy in the shop had a car they'd done the bumper with. He said we give it 48 hours to make sure it's definitely dry, and they've just put it on the counter there, and you can play with it all you want. And it seems to be very hardy stuff. Seems to work really well. I've rubbed my finger over the corner of it a fair bit. It didn't take the shine off it or anything like that. But having said that, I don't know about spraying clears over it. That's something you'll have to sort of find out what clears you can and can't use over it. I know that interactive coating stuff that you can get, the AK Interactive, I forget what it's called now, clear coat or something like, not clear coat, gloss coat or glass coat I think it is. I've done reviews on it. You'll see it on the channel here. You may be able to do it with that because that's fairly subtle, that stuff, and you can put it over all sorts of AK Interactive extreme metals, and you can put it over alclads and stuff like that. Doesn't affect those, so hopefully it'll work on this as well. I dare say you'll be able to use that, but I will try that at some stage. But looking at how hardy it was on that car they had on the shelf, it doesn't seem like you're going to really need it anyway. Maybe if you're putting decals on that spot, yeah, maybe you'll use it then. But anyway guys, I won't want to ramble anymore. I'll just give this a bit of a shake to make sure it's definitely mixed up. And what people are using this for, hopefully you've got enough light here, I'll pull that down. And hopefully you'll see what I'm doing here. This is just an old, obviously an old body that I've had sitting around. You've seen me do other videos with this thing, just playing with different techniques and stuff like that. It's always good to have something like this around you can just play with. Now what people are actually doing with this, I've already done it, but to prime it, you sort of got to push down on the nib. The nib sort of tucks back up inside it and it lets the ink flow down, and you can see that there already, like that beautiful little chrome spot is left. But the idea is once it flows, you should be able to paint your window sills with this chrome. Now obviously this is not going to have a nice crisp edge because this is all sort of bubbled up with rust and different things that I've been doing on it, but I just want to go around the edges like you would if you were actually doing this. Now don't criticise me too much guys, I'm doing this at an awkward angle like always with the camera, and it's fairly rough. I'm not doing it smooth, but you have got a lot of control with this. You can sort of hold it there and the ink just sort of flows out. You can build it up in great big thick, as you can see there, big thick chunks, and it flows into the grooves and everything, or you can just draw with it. Okay, and like I say, it gives you really nice control. Actually, I'll show you up on the lid here. And like I say, don't be frightened of how the edges look all rough on this, because that's a really rough surface that I'm doing that on. I'm really hoping that the camera's picking this up nice for you guys, but that chrome finish on there is just superb. It's absolutely beautiful. It definitely looks like chrome, and it actually looks better than the thick plastic stuff you get with the kits. And obviously with our car kits, these old AMT kits, and that you don't get the chrome sills around here, these chrome seals. around the edges. But I'm really happy with how much control you have over that. Like I say, don't hold it in one spot because it does sort of want to keep flowing out of that pen, which is good that it flows out so nice and smooth, like it really does flow out of there beautifully. There'd be nothing worse than if you had to keep going backwards and forwards over it to try and get it to cover, but that's really covering nicely. Honestly guys, even on this old rough body, that's looking really nice. Like I say, I'm not trying to do this too smooth guys, it's just to give you a bit of an idea. There we've got a nice chrome seal around the back of our window. I missed a bit up there. So there you can see that nice chrome seal around there. If you want to do your wiper blades, again this is really rough surface down here guys, this is terrible. If you want to do your wiper blades in chrome, no problem, just go over and dab it over. Nice chrome wiper blade. Now obviously if you had a nice smooth surface there, that would look absolutely superb. She's a bit rough on that because, like I say, she's been knocked around this old frame. It's had lots of, as you can see, lots of work done on it and different techniques mucked around, but I can honestly say guys, that is I'm really impressed with that. Now there's one thing I just learned: don't go back over somewhere where you've been and it's still not dry, because it just, yeah, it tends to sort of want to lift up and leave bubbles under the stuff that's not quite dry. Now that's the first bit I touched down on the back there. I'll just touch it with my thumb. As you see, that's not dry yet. From the other videos I've seen, you do have to give it quite a while to dry. So I'll give this, well, a good few hours, and I'll come back and I'll have a bit of a play with it. I'll dab it and rub it and carry on and just see what we can and can't do with it. I'll do a bit of a bigger section up here. One of the things that I've noticed with other videos too, if you're doing bigger areas, get the bigger ones, the bigger caliber ones like this. Like I say, there's the smallest one, the 1 mil, and as you can see, because I'm sort of going over, it's all sort of bubbly and rough because it's too big of a surface for it to do. But if you're only doing window sills and little chrome parts, it's absolutely fine for doing that. Okay, door handles, that's something you'll definitely probably be doing on cars. Okay, I'll try and do that. Forgive me if the camera's disappeared there guys, but that's that chrome door handle there. As you see, really nice stuff. Okay, I don't know about doing, say, if you've got raised writing, there is some on this one, but it's really been rubbed down, that's terrible on the back there, but I don't know about doing the raised writing, how easy that's going to be. Not very. But obviously if the writing wasn't sort of rubbed down as bad as that is on the back there, you'd probably be able to do it. Our locking mechanism on the boot here, give that a dab. Okay, like so. So a nice little chrome key spot there. But that's probably about all you need to see anyway guys, but honestly, really happy with that. It's definitely worth the $14. I have no idea how long the pen will last as far as how much chrome's in there, how long, but given that it's coming out of that so easily, I don't imagine you're going to get a lifetime of use out of one of these pens, but for what you can do with it, that's really impressive. Really nice. Like I say, I'll turn the camera off guys. I'm going to let that set for quite a few hours. I'll come back and play with it. Then I'll probably let it set for like 48 hours like the guy in the shop said. I'll come back and have another bit of a play with it. One of the other things, just to, while I've got you here too guys, if you're going to do big areas, like I say, you can also spray it and you're obviously going to get a nice smooth finish with it. I don't want to take this pen apart and spray it at the moment because it's the only one I've got. I probably will order a refill and I'll use that for spraying. I'll do a whole separate video on spraying and doing clear coats over the top and stuff like that. But really good so far guys, but yeah, let me come back to the end of the video and we'll have a bit of a play with it. Okay modelers, so I've given it, it's about 4 hours I've allowed it to dry, and I couldn't help myself, I had to have a bit of a play in between that time. Up here I give this part here a fairly heavy sort of a rub with my finger. It was probably about 2 hours I guess of drying time, and I rubbed my finger over. You can see there's some dull patches on there, so it hadn't properly cured by that stage. Then this, like I say, it's about 4 hours, and I've been rubbing on here, and you've got to rub like really hard, and even then it's like only a couple little spots that probably the really thick parts that is actually affected. The thinner parts, like I say, you can rub and nothing's happened unless, you know, you really get to the point where you actually almost sort of like that, where you're burning it, and it dulls it down a bit. But it's still not too bad. As far as trying to polish the stuff, I've got a cotton swab here. I've tried to have a bit of a play with like polishing the surface. It doesn't seem to make any difference how much you rub it with the cotton swab. It doesn't actually polish it or anything. Like, there may be just the smallest fraction of difference, I don't know. It's just really hard to tell. The stuff is so shiny as it is, like it's just like a mirror. So that, and like I say, it's about 4 hours of drying. Honestly, I'd give it about 24 hours, and I would say you won't have to coat that or anything. I think that stuff is going to be very, very hardy. Like you see, I'm really giving that a, it's almost burning my finger and rubbing that hard, and it's only the high spots and the parts where it's fairly thick where it's affecting it. So I reckon if you give that 24, 48 hours, you're going to have a really, really hardy finish there, which that's pretty much sold me on the product. That's something I'm going to keep in my toolkit from now on. I know I keep trying to sell you guys products, but as a modeler, I just love fiddling around with anything new that comes out like that, and that is really going to make a lot of our work a lot easier to doing chrome parts. And now I'm really looking forward to getting a refill and doing some spray brush work with it and see how that turns out. Actually, there's a couple of parts here, and this is what I was saying, where it's fairly thick. Now I'm really rubbing that. Look, it's only the high, thick parts that's made a difference to. So I reckon 24 hours of drying, you won't be able to mark that. And like I say, the guy in the shop had a whole bumper done at it, and I really rubbed on it and I couldn't get it to move, so it sets really, really hard. But anyway, guys, that's about all I can tell you with that product. I'll just show you the pen again. That's her there, and these are available. You can jump on eBay and get them and all that sort of thing. I guess you guys in America should have shops that these will be available in. I mean, it's not like they're uncommon. You can get hold of them. But like I say, they can be fairly expensive over the internet. The cheapest I found was like $17 and then postage. I got this one from a Brisbane hobby shop. They had them on the shelf, so obviously you can find them cheaper. But I will put the links down there for eBay and Amazon, all that sort of thing. But look around, guys. I'm sure you'll be able to get them cheaper. If you can't find them cheaper, by all means go through my links down there. That helps me out as well. But definitely recommend that product. If you think you've got a use for this, for putting, you know, chrome parts, even handles or smallest parts, this stuff is just magic. Really good stuff. So anyway, guys, that's about the end of the video. Like always, thank you very much for watching. Sub down below there. All my links are down below there as well, for my Patreon, for Facebook, for all sorts of stuff. They're all links down there that you can click on, go and have a bit of a look around. Also, like, give me a thumbs up down there. Any comments, guys, if you've used these things or you want to ask me questions about it, something else you want to see me do with the product, just drop in the comments down there. I love talking with you guys about this stuff. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video.